Hello, YTPC. This is Mr. Mystery, coming at you from a different spot in nature today. And I am, first of all, housekeeping, smoking the flop. I've added a little bit to it, possibly, since the last time you saw it. Taken away a little bit, possibly. In it, I've got Orlick Golden Slice that I know is going to go out, so I'm not even sure I should bother to continue during the video, but I will. So anyway, this is a VR to Michel Baruch, the Milwaukee Piper. Congratulations, Michel, Mazel Tov, on your high times high, plus I don't know how many right now. I didn't check before I started making the video, but Mazel Tov on all your subscribers and your wonderful channel that keeps us all coming back and keeps more people subscribing. I love content you put out, and I love the idea of this giveaway, in which you asked us to promote a charity, a tzedakah organization that is meaningful to us or connected to us in some way. And my immediate thought, honestly, was HIAS, the Hebrew Immigrant Aid Society, because I have a beloved family member who resettled refugees after the Holocaust. And that's along the lines of what HIAS does. They resettle refugees. I believe it's primarily Jewish refugees, but not exclusively. They provide legal assistance throughout the world for people in need, psychosocial care. I'm just going down the list of the website. I sort of know what they do, but they have the right terms here. They develop international and U.S. policy, and they do asylum work, excuse me. But yeah, sure enough, the pipe went out. So anyway, that's not something I'm personally involved in. And then I thought about the Jewish Family Service, which is what the family member I mentioned was involved in a similar capacity, as I said. But then I thought back to a story from college, and you've told some good stories on here, and I've seen some good stories in response to your videos, and a lot of good stories going around the YTPC recently. So I want to tell you officially, as my entry, for the Midnight Run. The Midnight Run is an organization in and around the New York City area. And what they say is they invite folks from the streets of New York and civic groups from greater New York, churches, synagogues, schools, to join our community, sharing their time, talents, food, clothing, and selves. And let me tell you now what I did on a midnight run in practice. So I was involved in a campus organization back in college that got a group of us together to, first I believe, we made sandwiches, peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, which would not fly these days. I'm sure there's no peanut butter allowed anymore on the midnight run. So we made the peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, packed them up individually in plastic bags, packed big garbage bags full of those bagged sandwiches. And then we called for a clothing drive, in which we solicited men's clothing, women's clothing, possibly children's clothing. This was close to 20 years ago, so I don't remember exactly, but I think there might have been children's clothing. And I remember specifically we had a rule of no underwear. I suppose that does make sense right off the bat. But even though all of the other clothing was going to be washed, and usually people will wash the clothing before donating it. But there was a strict no underwear policy. So what we did one night, late, maybe 10, 11 p.m., was those of us who were working on this gathered and waited for the bus to take us from our campus to the streets of New York City. And this is what I mean by a hands-on, actually physically helping people organization. So we'd loaded up ourselves and our garbage bags full of sandwiches, full of clothing, I think, did I mention we separated men's clothing, women's clothing, maybe children's clothing? Um, and So we arrived at our gathering site in New York City after an hour or so travel, and we unloaded everything, set up for homeless people who were on the streets to come to us and take sandwiches and eat them and take clothing and wear it. And we got, I don't know how many people, maybe 20, I'm guessing, right away. We're going through the evening, we're handing out sandwiches left and right, clothing, people are coming by and sorting through the clothes, taking what they need. And then this woman comes up to the women's clothing. I'm off doing other things, helping the people around me. And then I hear this laughter, this squeal of the purest joy I've ever heard in my life. There's a truck behind me, pardon the noise. I'll wait a second for that. So I hear this laughter, this squeal of joy. And it's the woman. She's probably, I'm guessing she looked 50 years old at the time. I was, I don't know, 19, 20. She looked about 50. She found a bra in the women's clothing. And this one simple undergarment provided her so much joy, probably more than she had felt in a really long time. And as strange as circumstances that was, I felt, pardon the interruption there, I had to actually shed a tear for a second. Then I'm back. So what I felt was just so honored and so overjoyed to be able to bring someone something that they needed so desperately and wanted so much, and help someone who barely had anything. It's gotten me thinking and learning about people who have less than I do. I could go on for another 5-10 minutes about that alone. I could go on for an hour about that. But anyway, I encourage you to go out there and physically help people. This is to everyone, not just you, Michelle. I know you do that as a job. But everyone in the YTPC, go out and help someone hand to hand with something they need and can't get it otherwise. And I'll see you next time.